Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today we have a tough subject that I'm going to talk about. And one of the things that I always hear when I have these debates with my female family members, this is none of a man's business. It's my body, my choice. And some of the things I kind of debunk real easily because when it's not to their convenience, it's never their body, their choice, especially when it comes to having unprotected sex. But the point really is that this is a tough subject, and this is young lady who survived the late term deletion, and she has a testimony before Congress. So uh, I haven't heard anything that she said that could be really disputed about her life story, and I'm gonna share some of that with you on this particular live. But one of the things that it made me think about was around 5 months ago. I did a video called "If I Was King for a Day," or if I had the power, what laws would I change, and what laws would I enact? Both at the federal level and at the state level. And this was one of the topics that came up. And because most people, most reasonable people, says that the right to life and the right to delete a baby, there's hardliners on both sides. Well, you have women on one side says they should have the choice to do anything they want, and then you have the hardliners that say, well, if you get pregnant, no matter what the condition, you have to have the baby. The truth, it lies somewhere in the middle. Everybody knows that. The majority of people understand that there'll be some circumstances that you'll tell, that you wouldn't want to have a woman go through a situation for that long of a period of time, hating the baby that's within her because of sexual assault, or because of incest, or because of anything else like that, or her health and things of that nature. So how come we can't come to some kind of compromise? That's where I'm at. Why can't the laws, work to where it makes some sense? Because it's never going to go away, right? When they say that baby deletions are illegal, no, they're not. They're still, depends on what state you're in, you can still have one. You know what I'm saying? And some women have many, and a lot of women, maybe too many women, use it as birth control, and that's not really what you're supposed to do. And I can't really imagine you really wanting to put yourself through a procedure like that just because you want to be unsafe during the sexual activity. But anyway, so we're gonna let this young lady talk, and her story is really poignant, and it's if you don't if you don't feel something after she talks, then you really don't have no soul. It doesn't matter what side that you fall on. It's really something that we should resolve. Matter of fact, this one issue is the only issue that Kamala Harris is actually running on. And I believe that, if Donald Trump doesn't be careful, they could fumble the bag on this one. Okay, because it really is half the population has a direct say in this, and the other half, like men, we some don't give a shit about this situation, but some men do because they have daughters, they have mothers, they have sisters, cousins that are female. Some men don't like the fact that they don't have any say in whether a baby is born, and then if they didn't want the kid, they don't have no way to be relieved of the responsibility for taking care of that kid if they don't want to. When a woman makes a mistake, she can go get rid of the kid, but the man has no such redress to actually do it like a woman does. So if he had a financial way to emancipate himself, then he probably would stay out of this issue altogether. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I don't want the kid. You say you want to have it, but I really don't want it. So, don't come after me for child support, because if I wanted the kid and you didn't, you can get rid of it. So those are kind of things that make things actually equal, but or at least at some semblance of equality. But the biggest issue is when you have the hardliners on the woman's side. The only reason why I say that I'm against them thinking it's their body, their choice, I don't believe any American citizen should have unfettered rights to do what the hell they want to do, right? We don't as men. Uh, so I don't see anybody being able to say, well, I should do what I want. We can't have a society where every woman could pick and choose to do whatever the hell she wants and nobody could check her, even if it comes down to her own body. Hey, listen, euthanasia is illegal, right? We could say, hey, listen, I'm tired of living and I just want to go have a doctor put me under the right way. We can't do that. We can't do that. It's illegal. It's my body, my choice. If I don't feel like staying here no more, who are you to say I don't want you can so that kind of shit goes. So we have to have some balance in the law. So I believe that there are some exceptions, and we should look at the exceptions in terms of where a woman shouldn't be able to get in trouble for the exceptions we come up with. A little while ago, I just said that I put this stream together on the Black Man Unfiltered Network around 5 months ago. I'll repeat it. It says, if I had the choice, if I had the power, what laws would I enact? And I'm going to play that. I'm going to show you that after we're going to hear this lady speak. So let's go ahead and hear her speak for a while. I'll stop it a little bit so we could absorb some of her stuff. It's not really that long. It may be. I haven't seen it in a long time, but we'll play through it so you can get the gist of her story, which is really poignant as a survivor of a late term saline abortion. All right, so here goes. Where is it at? Here you go.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Gianna Jessen, and I would like to thank you so much for the opportunity to testify here today. My biological mother was 7.5 months pregnant when she went to a Planned Parenthood and was advised, they advised her to have a late-term saline abortion. This method of abortion burns the baby inside and out, blinding and suffocating the child, who is then born dead, usually within 24 hours. And there should be a photo there. Yes, this is what I survived. Instead of dying, after 18 hours of being burned in my mother's womb, I was delivered alive in an abortion clinic in Los Angeles on April the 6th, 1977. You can see a photo as well of my medical records. My medical records state, born alive during saline abortion, 6 a.m. Victory. Thankfully, the abortionist was not at work yet. Had he been there, he would have ended my life with strangulation, suffocation, or leaving me there to die. Instead, a nurse called an ambulance, and I was rushed to a hospital. Doctors did not expect me to live. I did. I was later diagnosed with cerebral palsy, which was caused by a lack of oxygen to my brain while surviving an abortion. I was never supposed to hold up my head or walk. I do. And cerebral palsy, ladies and gentlemen, is a tremendous gift to me. I was eventually placed in foster care and later adopted. And hear me clearly, I forgive my biological mother. Within the first year after my birth, I was used as an expert witness in a case where an abortionist had been caught strangling a child to death after being born alive. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, said the following: "The most merciful thing that a large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it." Planned Parenthood is not ashamed of what they have done or continue to do, but we will have to give an account as a nation before God for our apathy and for the murder of over 50 million children in the womb. Every time we falter in courage as individuals and fail to confront this evil, I wonder how many lives have been lost in our silence while we make sure we are lauded among men and that we don't offend anyone. How many children have died and been dismembered and their parts sold for our ego?
Let me stop that there for a second and just talk about the fact that, uh, in the Black community, we usually throw out a number of baby deletions in our community over the last 50 years. And, the numbers range from, 18 to 20 something million. And, it's kept our population around 13% for as long as I can remember. And we're going to start seeing the impact of that eugenics program that we willfully, volunteer for. I mean, the DNC had an abortion bus right outside of the DNC convention, giving them out. And matter of fact, it's one of the number one planks in Kamala Harris's run for the presidency. You know what? Get rid of your babies. So I don't know what that bodes for the future, but we do see what's happening, right? As a community of Black folks, we don't want to get married no more. The people who are well-to-do don't want to have children, and we're being replaced by illegal immigrants and things of that nature. And their advantage is not because they're illegal; it's because they're bilingual. They're going to be able to take over all your lower level jobs. What Trump says, Black jobs, but you know what jobs he's talking about? The jobs that they could easily fill. And they could reach more people because they will be able to speak the language. They can learn English pretty fast. And with all the benefits they're getting coming in, and we're getting rid of all our children, our voting power is going to almost disappear in the next 10 years. So this whole notion that Black people help, turn elections, that shit's going away. We're being replaced, and we're voluntarily getting rid of our most precious possessions, and that's more children, and children within the confines of a nuclear family, so to speak. I don't care if you're married or not, but where two parents are raising a kid to be a productive citizen, and not just one parent bearing the burden and the other one saying, I don't want the kid. So I'm just saying, we see this stuff coming, but we ignore it. And I don't believe that the future belongs to whether a woman could decide on her own, just her choice, and that her choice doesn't have impact on the rest of us. It does. Nobody else has unfettered rights. Nobody. Nobody. Not in our pains America. So yeah, some rules have to apply to you whether you like them or not. The only thing is, I'm for all the exceptions, these draconian, no exceptions to, baby deletion. I don't believe in that. I believe there should be exceptions, and I have a list that I'm going to show you in a little while. But we're going to talk to this lady's story. Is really poignant, so I'm gonna go right back to it. Let's hear some more of what she has to say.
Oh, our convenience and our promiscuity. How many Lamborghinis were purchased with the blood of innocent children? The blood that cries to the Lord from the ground, like that of the blood of Abel. Not one of them, ladies and gentlemen, is forgotten by him. I would ask Planned Parenthood the following questions. 38 years later, I would ask them these questions. If abortion is about women's rights, then what were mine? You continuously use the argument, if the baby is disabled, we need to terminate the pregnancy, as if you can determine the quality of someone's life. Is my life less valuable due to my cerebral palsy? You have failed in your arrogance and greed to see one thing. It is often from the weakest among us that we learn wisdom. Something sorely lacking in our nation today, and it is both our folly and our shame that blinds us to the beauty of adversity. Planned Parenthood uses deception, the manipulation of language, and slogans such as a woman's right to choose to achieve their monetary aims. I will illustrate how well they employ this technique with the following quote. The receptivity of the masses is very limited. Their intelligence is small, but their power of forgetting is enormous. In consequence of these facts, all effective propaganda must be limited to a very few points and must harp on these in slogans until the last member of the public understands what you want him to understand by your slogan. Adolf Hitler. We often hear that if Planned Parenthood were defunded, were to be defunded, there would be a health crisis among women without the services they provide. This is absolutely false. Pregnancy resource centers are located nationwide as an option for the woman in crisis. All of their services are free and confidential. They can be reached by texting helpline to 313131. There is access to vital exams for women other than Planned Parenthood. We are not a nation without options. Planned Parenthood receives $500 million of taxpayer money a year to primarily destroy and dismember babies. Do not tell me these are not children. A heartbeat proves that. So does 40 ultrasounds. So do I. And so does the fact that they are selling human organs for profit. Do not tell me this is only a women's issue. It takes both a man and a woman to create a child. And to that point, I wish to speak to the men listening to me. You are made for greatness. You were born to defend women and children, not to use and abandon us, nor sit idly by while you know we are being harmed, and I am asking you to be brave. In conclusion, let me say, I am alive because of the power of Jesus Christ alone, in whom I live, move, and have my being. Without him, I would have nothing, and with him, I have all. Thank you.
Let me stop it right there. I'm gonna go back a little bit, and what I really took from one of the things I took from her was the fact that she said. So let me stop it right there. Hold on for a second. Did you see this guy's face when she put it on men? Right, the cowardly men of America and the West, allowing the emotions of ladies to decide what's best for mankind here. It's really deep. I just want to kind of run it back a little bit because it was poignant. She called the men out.
You are made for greatness. You were born to defend women and children, not to use and abandon us, nor sit idly by while you
saw his face, right? His face.
know we are being harmed, and I am asking you to be brave. In conclusion, let me say, I am alive because of the power of Jesus Christ alone, in whom I live, move, and have my being. Without him, I would have nothing, and with him, I have.
Let me stop it again. All I can say is I don't know how anybody can hear what she said and not be moved just a little bit. Now I'm gonna go back to what I said that I do have a couple of slides I like to show where if I had the power, what laws would I enact? You know what I'm saying? Well, the very first one on the list is exactly that. That's exactly what I said I'd do. And when we get to it, all right. All right. So if I had to put an act out there, this is the first one, the very first one, and I called it the Procreation Compromise Act. Right. So when you're retired, you don't got nothing else to do but come up with some stuff. So if I had the power, the way I would handle the abortion issue is exactly this. I would try to enact something that would streamline the whole situation across the whole country. So it would have to be at the federal level with punishments at the local level if they didn't comply. And the reason why I think that some part of this has to be a federal mandate, like the fact that we have to pay federal taxes. That's a federal mandate. Every state, even if states could decide not to pay state taxes, they can't exempt themselves from paying federal taxes. The people, all no matter what state you're in, you have to pay federal taxes. So I'm saying that if this was to somehow become federal again, it would have to be where it's streamlined across the whole country. So a woman who gets in trouble doesn't have to travel from one state where the laws are draconian to another state where she can actually get it done. Even though I have even though people move from state to state for those kind of real reasons, maybe not abortion, but for other reasons, like some states no taxes, some people will move to those states. But anyway, so here's my list of mandatory exceptions where if a woman got in trouble and she didn't want to have the baby, here's my list of exceptions. Now, I put down eight. My eight doesn't have to be your eight, but here's how I would compromise and get this issue off the table. And what I'm saying is the hardliners on both sides wouldn't be happy with this, right? Because the hardliners on the left want to have unfettered rights to go ahead and scrape out a baby anytime they want, which I disagree with because 99% of those pregnancies could be avoidable with just using birth control. And on the right, you have these draconian dudes who say a woman should carry a child of incest or sexual assault to full term. Well, that shit's driving her crazy. That's cruel and unusual. And I don't think anybody should be doing that to somebody, right? I don't believe like, hey, listen, you just got caught out there, just live with it. I don't agree with that at all, right? So I think that's a mistake. So here it is. So number one on my list is sexual assault, right? Somebody gets essayed, they should have redress. Now, you know what? In some states, they might want to say, can you prove it? Can you do this? Well, you have to turn in the person who actually did it. You have to at least say it. You have to file a police report. And you know what I'm saying? You can't wait 20 years and all this other shit, right? Because time is of the essence. You get hurt, you got to say something, right? So that's one. The other one, incest, of course. Of course. And don't say, well, what if the parent? These are exceptions. These are not the rules for the baby deletion mob, right? 90%, 95% of those things are by choice because people are being reckless in their sexual activity. So here's how we take care of some of those exceptions: the safety of the mother. So you have to say, hey, listen, if the pregnancy is going to hurt the mother, we got to get rid. We got to do something about it. That's what the medical profession is there for, right? So I think the adverse viability of the fetus. I believe that there should be some discussion on that. If a kid's going to have a life of a, a horrible life with a defect that makes them less than, hey, could tell you how you doing, makes them less than a viable citizen that has to survive out there. You know, I think there needs to be a discussion on the severity of what that illness might be, right? I mean, but I think this should be on a list, right? Uh, as far as Plan B is concerned, I think we should leave the medicine alone. We have a whole bunch of medicines out there that are horrible for people to take, and nobody's arguing about it. So if a woman gets her hand on Plan B and she wants to do something on her own, I don't think we should take that away. All right. Uh, I don't think that when a woman has a miscarriage, because many women do, and when especially when they're having kids, they shouldn't have to be questioned in the hospital like they're criminals. Because most women ain't gonna try to self-delete, right? That's rare. I mean, that takes, a desperation that I don't think anybody really has these days. Because the stigma of having a baby out of wedlock and all this stuff, there's so many things you could do. So they're not gonna hurt themselves just because they want to get some will, but it's a very small percentage. So when a woman comes into a hospital, the doctor shouldn't be worried about going to jail for treating her. I mean, I think that's stupid, right? So we got to stop being stupid. And then, of course, we have to have some qualified immunity for the doctors providing the care, right? They shouldn't have to question whether they would take care of a woman if she comes in with a dead fetus in her body, right? That doesn't make sense either. And then the last one is we need to revamp the adoption services in this country. I mean, nobody really talks about it that much, but from what I understand, the adoption services are a mess, right? They're absolute mess. So these are my 8 things, and there's some exceptions. So here's one of the things that I really think is an exception that we should even talk about. If a woman, there's 2 things I don't like. If I'm married to you and you're my wife and she gets pregnant, I don't agree that she should go be able to kill my son or my daughter without me knowing. I don't agree with that. I don't. I never will. I don't care how many women scream from the rooftops. I wouldn't agree with that. The other one is that when you're having your casual sexual encounters and the guy doesn't want to be a father and you want to have the baby, he should be able to opt out of paying financial child support. If you can go, and because the opposite is not true. If he wants the kid, but he won't marry you, and you go delete the kid, he don't have no say. So that's not fair either. So if you want a kid out of wedlock and the man doesn't, I think he should have a methodology of putting it on paper that he just shouldn't have to pay child support. You want it, you got it. So these are the situations that I say that neither extreme side is going to like this. But that's the actual answer. These 8 steps are maybe not the same 8 steps. There might be some other shit we should talk about. But nobody gets what they want 100%. And I argue, I argue with my sister about this all the time. She can't stand me when we talk about this. I don't believe, I'm gonna say it again, that no citizen deserves the right to do what the hell they want, including women. I don't agree with that. I would never agree with that. It's your body, it's your choice. But yeah, but only in certain circumstances. Because when you get pregnant, the first thing you want to do is, well, it takes 2 to tangle. But it's still your womb. It's your body, your choice there too, to let a guy enter you without rubber on. Oh, but he should have put a rubber on himself. Of course he would. Of course he should. But that's not the point. Because in the court of law, you have to abdicate your womb to a man. He can't just take it. He can't just take it. You have to abdicate yourself. You have to submit yourself to a man. And you have to say yes plenty of times during that act, or else you could go to jail. So let's stop the Innocence Project. So anyway, this is my little short myth on this one. I don't know if I might revise this and do this on a Monday show over on Black Man Unfiltered Network or not. But I just felt like getting this off my chest because so many ladies in my family, we talk about these kind of things. And they keep hitting me on top of the head. Well, you're a man, you shouldn't have anything to say. But you heard that lady on that video. She charged the men up in there. Say, listen, you guys stop being cowards. Stop being cowards. You have something to say about this, and you should say the right things. And if that's the camp I would be in, she wouldn't have to say that to me because I agree with her 100%. So so there you have it. My little missive on, my body, my choice. Should any group have unfettered rights? And I probably should have just said, should a woman have unfettered rights? And the answer is no. Nobody should. Not in the United States, not in our republic. And I'll argue that till the cows come home. Especially since women have full citizenship. I got so many examples, but none of you want to sign up for selective service. You're not mandated to do that like men are, right? But you have full. Matter of fact, you got a woman running for president. How could you be a president of the United States, but you don't want to sign up to be a full citizen? I mean, that's just bullshit to me. So signing up for selective service doesn't put you on the front lines. You could be in the logistics, or any other thing to support the troops by conscription. But there you have it. Men have abdicated their responsibility in this country and in the West. You know, uh, we've become a bunch, and I say we, it's really white men, because black men have never really been at the wheels of power to make a lot of these decisions. But it doesn't absolve us from our responsibility, even at our level. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand the European man. You conquered the whole goddamn world several times over, but we've given away the power, the rings of power, to the women in this country, and it's chaotic. It's chaotic. It's nothing against the women being in charge of certain things, but not leading the country or leading men the way they do. That's why we're upside down. It's like anything goes today. There's no governance on anything. So anyway, anybody who missed some of this, you can catch it on replay. Uh, but I just wanted to say a few things about what I think about one of the most critical issues, or the number one issue for the Democrats, is how is finding a way to have your women delete babies. Just think about it. With all the shit going on, the number one plank that they have is deleting children. There's something demonic about that. And when I say they, I mean Harris. That's the only one thing she actually knows how to talk about. So, and then you got Trump when they say he wants to eliminate it altogether. He said 1,000 times, he says it should be a state thing. And I agree with that. It should be a state by state thing, but that could even be tweaked, because certain parts of it should be normalized across the whole country. But I don't think we're ever coming back to that. Doesn't matter who's in the executive office, they're not going to be able to pull that off. Anyway, this is my attempt to be king for a day. What I would do. I have some other things, but I don't want to change the tenor of this particular live. Like I said, I'm gonna try to go live every so often and just get things off my chest. So here's another one. So Melania's around too. All right, Melania's around. Well, that's cool. She's there. I appreciate that. Anyway, listen. Thanks for stopping by, listening to me. I If you haven't seen all of this, just look at it again on replay. I just want to throw something out there. So everybody it's Friday. I know some of you guys are still working. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of mine. And with that, I'm gonna say good afternoon. I'll be on the barbershop tonight over in Black Man Unfiltered. Anyway, take it easy, everybody. Later. Oh, if you had a comment, you could have put it in the chat. I should have said that, but it's all right. You know. Oh yeah, there you go. I see. I mean, I had this thing over there. I didn't see you, Milani. Thanks for stopping by. All righty. Hey, listen, I'll talk to you guys later. Probably see you later on tonight. Later. Have a good afternoon.